Hi everyone! We finished the book. It's been a ride. I full spoilers on everything except Throne of Glass, which we'll hold to the end, but Jamie. Everything Crescent City, everything Akatar is free reign net right now.
I would just want to say
Oh,
too that if some people are watching this that have read Throne of Glass and are wondering how are we going to not spoil Throne of Glass, we're not. We're not going to until the end. But if you somehow got through this book without reading Throne of Glass, I hope you know what your assignment is. Things will make more sense. Just go read them.
we also wait to talk about the bonus chapters until the end in case people haven't read them.
Yes. So I think what makes the most sense is we'll talk about the book without talking about the extra chapters and Throne of Glass, and then what we'll do is we'll talk about the bonus chapters because I figure you're probably going to read those for sure, whether you've read Throne of Glass or not, and then we will talk about our Throne of Glass thoughts. Yeah.
Start. I I was just sad, and this is on me because I assumed we were gonna have a whole nother Hunt Bryce book. Like I didn't expect this to be the end of Hunt and Bryce's story.
Mhm.
So getting to such like a final state, on one hand, I was happy because I fully expected it to end in another ginormous cliffhanger. And on the other hand, I feel like I hadn't emotionally prepared myself for it to be over.
What do you think the next book is going to be?
So I've been trying to dig into it. Like the first thing I did was go on Reddit and see what the theories were, or like if Sarah had come out with anything. And it looks like some people think, since it's supposed to be the water, like House of Water question
Mm.
mark, is that the next house?
Yeah.
That it might be about Tharian, Asathia, the Viper Queen, like all of those side characters whose stories weren't as clearly wrapped up in this book.
Mhm.
And Ethan and maybe Perry.
But I think we're still going to get Bryce and Hunt. Like, I think very much we were given a lot of like really nice, like we're so excited about living our lives together. But like they've got a lot. They've got a lot to do, like a lot to work on. And I don't know, I didn't take it as like this is the last time we're gonna see Bryce and Hunt.
Not, but I'm worried. And it was just more final than I thought it was gonna be. But
Like in a beautiful way. Like in the last episode where I asked for a super boring HEA and it wasn't boring, but like I got it.
I was so sold on the hell is gonna be evil train,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
we can get into more later too. But
they weren't almost at all. I was also really surprised when they were just like, okay, bye. Like, you're welcome. We did our part, now we're gonna go. I was like, wow, this is really peaceful. Maybe we were wrong.
feels like we were
Yeah, we'll save that until the end. We'll save the were we wrong
okay.
so we can talk about it fully. But yeah. Do we want to talk about Bryce and Hunt? Like, do we just want to talk all about them? Do we want to like go in order of chronological happenings? Like, how are people feeling? It's just all over the place for me. I'm happy, I'm sad. I did a lot of crying. The emotions are everywhere.
Bryce is probably a good place. Or should we start with everyone else? Because like I don't everyone else
Oh,
didn't do a whole ton in this section. Like
that's
Baxian
fair.
never to be seen again.
We're gonna work up to it again. Yeah, that works for me. Baxian's small moment was adorable and also right at the end,
The
where he was like,
Pegasi.
hey, Bryce and Hunt, we have Pegasuses or Pegasi again. I'm gonna need you to come handle this.
Hey, I swear this isn't a spoiler, but did the Pegasus give you the flowers from Throne of Glass vibes?
A little bit.
Like,
A
yeah.
bit, yeah.
Like the land is healing. Yay,
Yeah.
here's
And they
magical
just like
signs.
popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think that because I know we've mentioned the Pegasuses. I think it's Pegasi, but they say Pegasuses in the book, so I don't know. The multi Pegasus. Um, I I know we'd mentioned them before, but I thought it was interesting because they do still exist in Prithian. Like they still exist in Akatar and like they're rare. Yeah. Helion has them. Um
Oh,
he's got like a whole troop of them. And so I think it's interesting that now Midgard has them again. And I'm really I don't know like what cool magic kept them on ice this whole time or where they were hiding, but I thought that was so cute and like oh my goodness, like Hunt being so happy with how happy Bryce was about there being like real life Pegasi. Like I was like, that is me 100%. Just being like, cute animal. It was cute.
It was really
And
cute.
yeah, I like that Baxian is safe. I know we kept saying that we were worried for him, and I'm glad that he made it through. What else? Who else?
I just feel like people didn't do a whole. I mean, Lydia did a whole bunch. Maybe Lydia's a good place.
I think Lydia's a great place.
Yeah. Lydia, go. Jamie, how'd you feel?
Oh, I loved everything about it. I understand she was mad at Rune for shooting her,
Yes.
but then she got to, her true self even more got to be revealed, and she was the one that ended Pollux, which is very rewarding and satisfying.
Love to see it.
And then she
Love
got
to
to
see
meet
him
up
burn
with
to a
the
crisp.
fire sprites again, which was amazing.
Yeah. It was so good.
Like
Um,
her whole arc, everything about her, like she's such a favorite. I feel like she carried the book for me.
I agree. I think she was definitely a force in this book. Like when everything else was kind of like, oh, what's happening? I don't. Lydia was always like, yes, let's see what Lydia's doing.
Yeah, there was never like a certain POV that I was like, ugh, not this person. But I think where some people I was more neutral about. I was like, okay, story progression. Every single
Mhm.
time I saw Lydia or Rune's name, I was just like, yes, this is
Oh,
the
weird.
story that I
Same.
want.
There was never like a green leafy vegetable you didn't care to see.
No, no green leafy vegetables in this book, or
Not this
like
one.
people that play musical instruments in the woods. There was like none of that, none of those vibes. Um and celebrate weird spring rates. Yeah, I loved her. I never for a second was like really worried about her whole I'll never forgive you for shooting me rune because I was like you are not in your right mind right now.
Mhm.
But I loved that she wasn't. I love that that was the one moment where Lydia was not in complete control.
For her kids, like
Yeah.
any mama bear.
Yep. It was great.
Worried when she was running in to die. Like I actually thought, damn, it's gonna happen. Like going into this section, I hadn't thought it was possible, but those 3 pages where she's fully prepared to die, I was like, oh, they did the bait and switch. Like she thought she was gonna die earlier in the book, and now she's actually gonna die. Um, so the fire sprites coming in was definitely nice.
Yeah. I was getting a little emotional, but there was like, I think 80% of me was like, there's no way Lydia dies. And I was just like, nope, nope, there's no way. There's no way. And then I was like, is there? Oh God. And then the fire sprite showed up and I was like, we're
Yeah, I
good.
was like,
We're good.
as long as she takes the antidote, because I'm pretty sure she has some kind of like witchy firepower or something. Diz.
Some sort of really cool witchy firepower that seems like she got it from somewhere that may not make
But it
sense to
wasn't
some
even.
people.
Yeah, so it turns out she wasn't. It's not even a witch power. It's from a certain. Oh, we can't talk about it. Never mind.
From her dad,
It was really
stag
cool.
power.
It
I
was
feel like
super cool.
this was a super cool scene. It was awesome. She's got really cool power. We had surmised that she had some sort of power, and we can't
And
talk
there were
about
so
more of
many
it.
clues too. I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys caught on to that.
All the fire things, yeah, with her coming to Rune as like a big fire sprite that whole time. You know, we were
She
wondering what
was,
that was all about.
yeah, she was the one that got rid of the fire. That was when they were in the caves and everyone's trapped in the fire. She was the one that extinguished it or made it vanish.
It was very cool.
I don't think I picked up on it until they later said it.
No, I had no idea about that.
Yeah. Everything was just happening so fast.
I was mostly surprised about the fact that she knew about it the whole time. I thought it was going to be a surprise to her too, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lydia.
I mean, I see that she knew about it, but it's also not surprising. Like, I feel like if anyone can keep a secret, Lydia can keep a secret.
Oh, for sure. I just thought it was going to be a surprise, and I shouldn't have thought that. But when she was like, "Yeah, I've kept a secret my whole life," I was like, "What?" She's so cool. How did we feel about Rude shooting her? I loved it.
Tense. I was like, you do this, my guy.
Okay.
It was perfect. It was like the perfect way for Rune to like try to save her life and sacrifice himself for her kids.
And they're mates.
I was like, yeah, Rune, I know. I know that's the thing you kept thinking. Thanks for saying it out loud.
What was it that Jamie was like, if I hear you guys call one more group of people mates, I'm gonna end it.
I I want to say no. I don't think I can even say it.
I
Can
think it
I?
was I think it was Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely like some end game Throne of Glass times where we might have been saying it often about everyone.
Hmm.
But
I
that's
can't
the
even go
most
into
we can say.
detail why.
No, just if that intrigued you at all, there's your 20-second elevator pitch for why to read Throne of Glass. Um, yeah, yeah, I loved it. And like just Rune's whole thing. Like I felt like he made really great choices at the end when he was like, "All right, we're going back into the tower." I was like, "I get it, but at the same time, can you please get those kids to safety?" And then they didn't have to, so it was fine. But I also love that Bran and Ace like appreciated what he did. They were like, "Thanks for trying to save our mom."
Lydia was like, get my sons to safety, and he was like, come on, kids, you want to go on a cool adventure?
Yeah. But he did such a good job.
And may Pollux rest in pieces.
In
Yeah.
ashes.
Ashes. So perfect. I'm so glad he's dead. That was great.
Hmm.
Oh, did you guys love how all of the vials of antidote crumbled?
What luck? Of course, Ethan. Because that was the first time, right? The first time we
No.
read about it, it was Ethan that, or like it got destroyed while in Ethan's hands, and
Ethan's was the
then
second one.
oh,
Theorize was
Ethan,
the first when he was like, "Oh no, the strap broke. There's only two left." I was like,
right.
"Of course there are." But then when Ethan's like running through and just gets like yeeted into a wall and he's
The
like,
wall.
"Oh no, they're all broken." I was like, "Of course they are."
Ethan's like, oh no, they're broken. It's fine. Therian has some.
Barely.
God.
I just mostly felt bad for Hypaxia in that moment. I was like, our girl spent so much time on those, and you guys were just like, whatever.
So I've
Yeah.
probably read it a lot recently, just trying to decompress after finishing, especially because I finished before you guys and I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do with myself. And one post was like all completely dedicated to how Tharian and Ethan in this book were himbos.
They are. I love them.
They're so dumb. They're so I wouldn't say useless. Like they did a lot here. Not Ethan didn't really do that much. Hot take. I don't think Ethan helped a lot.
Okay.
What
I'm
did
gonna need.
Ethan do in the last section of this book?
He like
Delivery.
he buried a
Delivery.
whole prime.
No, like the battle scene, like the last section we just read. What did Ethan contribute?
Well, Ethan contributed the literal end of the Asteri. I mean, if it hadn't been for him getting the gun and the bullet to Brace,
That's
like
true.
it
Yeah.
literally wouldn't have happened.
The
Okay, so he
deliveries.
ran a little bit. Like, ooh, my boy did a half marathon. Congrats! Like,
It probably felt like a 5K too for all of his new powers. Like nada.
yeah.
Yeah, like wasn't he like super out of breath when he got there?
I mean, to be fair, I think he like took a boat and like jogged half a city, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Ethan's just been doing a lot, like a lot of personal growing throughout this book. And then, like, just a lot of juggling too. His different things he's got going on.
Oh, yeah, personally, like his personal life he does. This battle scene, my guy was a delivery boy. And he
Yeah.
didn't deliver half of the things he was supposed to.
But the most important thing that ended the Asteri, yay!
Oh my god.
I liked it. I also really liked the scene at the end where he's hanging out with Perry and Deck and Flynn and Rune and Lydia, and Perry's like kind of laughing at Flynn, and he's like, "Why does this bother me so much?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
Is this
"Ethan."
where I have to take it back? And I have to say you guys are right. It was 100% a mate thing.
It's definitely a mate thing, and I'm here to see it, but I'm sorry for many reasons that your thing didn't work out.
So sad.
I told myself I wasn't gonna cry again over Jessica. Oh my goodness.
She
Like I'm
I don't
sad,
know how I
but
feel about it.
yeah. Like I'm sad, but it makes sense.
I think it's just like the sacrifice behind it. It's not like Jessica specifically. I think it's part of it though. I think for me it was like, wow. I always kind of thought that you thought Brace was annoying. And like I knew that Jessica didn't dislike Brace, but I did not realize how much she like loved her and paid attention. Just like her being like, you've had that self-sacrificing streak like as long as I've known you, and it's just like, oh my goodness, she was planning on this the whole time.
Yeah, what really got me is the scene where they're like, "Oh, and Jessica had Ethan box up all of her things." Like the fact that Ethan being her assistant was just her preparing for that moment.
For her death.
I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. Cuz
Yep.
I think at the beginning we were like, "Wonder what Jessica's doing with all this stuff. That feels weird."
Yeah. It was just a torrent of emotions. So yeah, no Jessica and Ethan, fortunately or unfortunately.
Ethan and Hypaxia. Sorry for whoever rooted that one.
Yeah, no, I really, it felt very platonic to me. And when we were talking about her and Celestina getting back together, I was like, yeah, I think that they should at least try. Celestina
Yeah.
deserves another chance.
It sounds like they're going to.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
there was that one little line.
I still don't forgive her. My boy Cormac is dead because of her.
Yeah. I think it's like I think she made a bad decision, but she was in a really hard position at the same time. So I'll let her try again. But I'm keeping my eye on her.
She's like the only archangel that is somewhat forgivable, right?
That we know of for
Noah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No too many other ones. I yeah. Is this where I say I was I'm not gonna say disappointed because I wasn't disappointed, but it felt not I don't know how to frame it, but the fact that no one really died in the battle
Hmm.
didn't feel realistic to me.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, they
I know
basically did the end of Akawar again. Like it was, which I didn't hate.
No.
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was great. And I felt like the symbolism was nice because of the crossover. Like if it had been two different book series, I would have been like, Sarah, I've read this before, but I feel like later we can find out that, it's just interesting that we have these two couples who like tried to sacrifice themselves to like hold their worlds together. But yeah, it was like someone died, but then we bring them back to life.
one died, but we bring them back to life. Like I was fine with that, but that no one died in the actual battle scene. Like Jessica willingly gave up her life, but no one
Mhm.
like there wasn't a death where it was like, "Oh shoot, that I don't know." Like
Yeah.
I don't it just doesn't hit the same when like they're willingly doing it as opposed to this was not part of the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than the Asteri, those were the only ones that
And Pollux.
Pollux. Yeah. Was that it?
Yeah.
So
Like no one.
Yeah.
it's weird.
Pollux.
I felt like the opposite with Aqua War. Like I was surprised and semi-disappointed that no one really important died. Although I remember being like really prepared for Amryn to not, I guess, or to be killed off, and then was surprised that she came back. When I was reading House of Flame and Shadow, I think I was okay that no one important died. I don't know, it's weird why one or the other.
I don't know. I cried enough for 5 people to have died. I was fine.
Oh, I didn't cry for any of the deaths in this book, which is weird because I don't usually cry for deaths in books, but Lahaba got me and Cormac got me, but no one in this.
I think I cried more in the first book with Lahaba than I did this one. I think this one is more of like reunions and like happy tears.
Hmm. Yeah, for me, it was like Jessica sacrificing herself for Bryce. I think I was just like, oh, thank God. And also, like, that is so sweet. But you know what got me? You know what was the second one where I had to take like a literal 5-minute break? Was just the fact that, like, I think I've just really been thinking that Lahaba was going to come back, like, legitimately. Like, it was not.
You were
Not to be funny, like I genuinely I never cried over her in the first book. Like I really thought she was coming back, and like just seeing her there, I lost my mind.
A lot. Like the scene where you see them all on the hill.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, that's
definitely the closest.
yeah, I teared up for that scene because yeah, Danica and Lahaba was there. But the first book, Lahaba's death, I was like sobbing,
Yeah.
like ugly crying. Because it was so I'm sorry, Brooke, that you didn't have that.
It's okay. That was me 3 hours ago, just being like, "Oh my goodness, it's real real.
It's
She's not coming back." And just like
finally accepting Lahaba's death.
I have finally come to terms with the fact that Lahaba is dead. It just happened for me 3 hours ago, so it's still very fresh. But we're okay. We're all right. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely I agree with you, Elena. Like it can be really frustrating when you build up to like a 3-book mega war and basically no one dies. I think I'm just like such a sucker for the HEA, and I felt like everyone almost died. Like it wasn't like other teen, maybe like a vampire romance series that built up to a whole big war and then like the war never happened. Like at least I felt like this war, like there were significant moments at which I really thought people were dying. Like I got close to losing people enough times that it counted for me.
Well, how do you guys feel with Bryce being dead?
Didn't love that either.
I was like, huh? But then I knew she's coming back, so
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I knew like there was
no way
never a
she's dying.
chance she was gonna like die. So then I just it didn't like emotionally I wasn't.
I think for me is like I keep wondering when Sarah's gonna call her bluff. Like because I had the moment where like I thought Lydia was like Lydia almost died, and then Lydia almost died again, and then when Bryce was doing the same thing Lydia did, where she's like, "I'm going to sacrifice myself to save the world," I was like, "Oh no, is this the one time that this happens? Like,
It would
is
have
it happening?"
it would have been crazy if that was a Robert Downey Jr. moment.
Just like right, exactly.
That would have been wild.
No, and that's what in the back of my mind, and I really did not cry for Bryce. I think like I was just like holding on to it, and then it was when Jessica was like, I'll trade. I was like, oh God, she really was dead. Like if it wasn't for Jessica, we would have lost her. It's
I
just so
did think
sweet.
it was cute that Shahar is the one that goes with Hunt in those final moments though. Like I
That was
didn't see
nice.
that coming.
Same.
I've genuinely like almost never cared about her. Like, cause it always seemed like Hunt was kind of like more of a booty call, like a long-term booty call
Mhm.
than anything else to Shahar. And like I know that she cared about him, but not in the same way that like obviously he and Bryce care about each other. So I was never
Yeah.
like, oh no, but I know that it really affected him to have lost her. And for her to show him that she cared, I thought was really nice for him, closure
Mhm.
wise, to be able to have that moment with her.
Yeah, that was a really, really nice closure too.
Mhm.
Off the whole scene of the final fight with the Fallen. Like it's what Hunt wanted to do hundreds of years ago, and he finally got that moment.
Yeah. And then like sharing that little moment with Isaiah too, where Isaiah like came over to him while he's like goodbye to all of the dead mech suit bodies. It's like, oh, you guys have come so far.
Change the tone of this conversation. But when I was imagining the wings flying, I'm sorry, I could not keep like a straight face. Because it was like just imagine.
To
Sorry.
make you feel better about yourself, do you know what I pictured?
Do tell.
I pictured the flying keys in Harry Potter. I also was like, I love the sentiment behind this, and I think that this is a really cool way to use this thing that has been like around for a really long time. Like the wings have been on the wall since like the 5th chapter. But yeah, there was a part of me that was like, this would look ridiculous.
I still think it's cool. And what they
Yes.
and then what like the souls went into the mech suits, but like picturing it in my mind was like I was a little bit ridiculous.
So worried for a second when our boy Riggy was like, and now I'm marching into hell. I was like, oh shoot, didn't see that coming. And I was like, oh wow, it's just me. Everyone else saw that coming apparently.
Same, Elena. I was also very nervous. Bryce and Hunt were just like giggling about how they were never nervous.
But this is like has happened a lot through the series.
Yeah.
They always
Especially
have
in this
something
book.
like yeah, hidden underneath their sleeve, right? Is that the saying?
Hmm.
But it's just so good. Bryce is always 2 steps ahead. It's so good.
Why do we keep underestimating her?
No.
Well, for me, it's not that I'm underestimating her. It's that my brain can't get to there. So I'm just like, oh God. And then all of a sudden I'm like, thank God Bryce is more intelligent than I am. Because if I was leading this, people would be dead.
Yeah.
The war would have killed everyone.
I think that's part of the reason why I like her.
I think that was why I was getting upset at the end. Because when I was thinking, like, oh my goodness, is this the time where one of our like real main characters dies? I was like, I would be really sad in future Crescent City books without Bryce. She's just great.
Feel
And
like they're gonna
powerful.
be main characters in the next book, and if that's the case, I'm gonna be sad about it.
It might not be. It might be like how, Reese and Feyre are like still in Silver Flames, but they're not the main focus.
Oh, Bryce is gonna be pregnant and unable to do anything ever again.
I don't believe that.
What did you guys think about Nesta? What did you think
Big
about?
fan.
So I was gonna particularly talk about like what do you think that Ember was referring to when she said to Nesta that like she didn't say like you'll get through it. She said something that seemed
Like
very
you'll get there or what's the other?
yeah. And I don't know if it's just like a simple um and like maybe we need to talk about it a little more in conjunction with the deleted scene, but I even after reading the deleted scene, I didn't have like an answer to it. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's like putting that like angst together and like the mom thing and then like in a non-spoiler way like kids came up in the um added scenes, and I just felt like there was a possibility that like Ember had like realized that like Nesta maybe and Cassian aren't having a kid yet and like it bothers her. Like I don't know. I just got some like vibes of like maybe she and Cassian have been trying to have a kid and it hasn't been working.
Find your way. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just took that more as like Nesta's constant
Being Nesta.
personality. Yeah, I took it as Nesta being Nesta, and like, even though she did come a long way in Silver Flames, like she's clearly still trying to figure out who she is, and
Yeah.
like, even though she's given up some of her power, like I feel like this book alluded to there's still things for her left to do.
Yeah, it probably was just that. It's just me over here, like, really wanting Nyx to have a cousin.
Aw. I think when I read it, I saw it more as like, oh, and Nesta still needing more time with her healing journey, and that's why Ember said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a little surprise for me because I thought by Silver Flames she was, okay.
I think
It's a
that this was like,
growing.
yeah, no, it's definitely a growing thing. But I think that like this kind of showed that, Nesta definitely still has not healed from her childhood. I think especially with her mom, but like also with her dad. But did we love that little scene? I thought it was so cute. Like Ember and Randall like hugging Nesta, and like Nesta being shocked that Bryce came back, like to give her the mask and the dagger. I was like, oh.
And she gave Nesta the sword.
And she gave her, Gwydion, right? Gwydion? Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we gonna do with Gwydion and Truth Teller plus Nesta? Like, Kochai, buddy, you better have friends, because shit's coming for you.
Can't wait to see them again. Them, I mean the weapons.
Just the weapons.
Don't care for Kochai.
Does Gwydion get a POV chapter?
I literally saw so many of the Omegaverse videos today. So I don't need inanimate objects having POVs.
No, I thought that was cute. I thought it was a cute moment. And I was really glad that Ember and Randall didn't like hold it against Bryce for almost any time. There was like a, one or two sentence like, what were you thinking? But we're so proud of you.
And also I appreciated that like when they are upset with her, it's about the fact she didn't bring Connor. It's not about her pushing them into a portal.
Yeah. Conrad, but yes.
Conrad?
No, it's
His name is
Cooper.
Cooper.
You said Conrad last episode, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if that's right, but I'll go with it. And then I was reading the book, and I was like, oh, it's Cooper.
I literally just read his name like 50 times. It is just burned into my brain as Conrad. I don't know why, because Cooper is such a better name. Cooper. I'll remember now. Yeah, Cooper.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the fact that they seem to end up with the relationship with like Nesta and everyone in Prithian that we wanted Bryce to have originally. And I don't hate the fact that happened.
No, because if anything, like these last couple of times that they've opened up the portal has really showed me that like this won't be it. Like there will be more. I really do truly believe it. So I can wait for those fun moments of all of them like going to Rita's and getting dinner and walking around the city. Yeah. How do we feel about Therian? I was really proud of him in his like final, very cliffhangery chapter.
Nowhere. I thought she was with some random guy that we didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I don't know. My guess is that Ariadne has just been like out and about doing her own thing.
Not being held captive.
No idea.
Or, yeah. No, I don't know idea.
I am confusion. Head empty.
So like the Viper Queen, like I do remember her saying something like that she had just made a choice. So I think that we could have taken it to be that she had been taken, because I think some of her friends thought that, but maybe she didn't. Maybe she just walked out.
But I thought the Viper Queen also made a comment where she was like, or someone made a comment where they were like, she's worse off with him. Like, she doesn't realize how bad it's going to be with him. Maybe I'm misremembering that.
Yeah, I remember them talking about like, she made a better deal or something. But who knows what it was?
The Viper Queen made a better deal.
No, Ariadne. Like I remember the Viper Queen saying something that like she had made a better deal for herself.
Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know. But yeah,
As
she's
long as it
back.
benefits the Viper Queen.
She's back. She had nothing to do with taking down the Asteri, so I have to assume she's got something cool cooking for the next book. Yeah. But I was really happy that Tharian like immediately was like, I need to go find my wife. Like there was no part of him that was like, oh, now I can get out of this, or like, meh, she'll come back if she wants to. He was like, no, where is my wife?
I want to make sure she's okay.
We love a where is my wife.
Love it.
Where is Sigrid? Sigrid was never seen again.
I don't know.
Hypaxia is trying to deal with her.
I was gonna say, Hypaxia has her in timeout, hopefully.
Hypaxia has her hands full. Hypaxia, the one person that really contributed to this war effort with
Those antidotes.
those
Straight up
antidotes
science.
that never got used.
I mean, they did. They
I
did.
know.
I
And
think Rune and Lydia was the only one that took it, right?
Yeah.
Who else?
And
Tharian.
Tharian and Ethan.
Yep. I was trying to think if there was anybody else. But yeah, Hunt and Bryce take it later. Yeah. And like I know we were saying that kind of Tharian didn't do much, but like he did get them the antidotes and like, you know, he was trying to be helpful in the scenes with with Lydia's kids. So like he was doing something. Fish boy.
He did.
Yeah.
I'm excited for more "Where Are My Wife" moments from him. I think it's gonna be a cute
See, like
forced marriage.
both ships could happen either
Do,
way.
do
So
you think that there's a chance that he will go back with Ariadne potentially? Not that they were ever really together, but
no, they weren't really together, but I could see something happening between because like they had some cute moments in the beginning. Like when
yeah.
she gave him, was it like extra time or something during the fights?
And she like helped him with his wound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nickname.
Or is she just gonna like tempt him, but we still want him to be with Sathya? I don't know. I'm very attached to the unplanned wife.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where the next book goes just because I feel like there's not a big external conflict outside of them running out of energy. So like is it just going to be like a purely political book or are there going to be I like that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
I have to assume that another conflict will raise its head.
Viper Queen.
It could be. And like I'm okay for the thing that is against them to not be like the Asteri level of bad. But I do also wonder if we're gonna like uncover something in Akatar that then forces like Reese to come through and be like, hey, sorry I was an asshole. I'm gonna need your help.
That would he would have to do some groveling. My guy would have to
Yeah.
get down off his horse. I have some thoughts after the bonus chapter.
I could see it and I could enjoy it quite a bit. But yeah. My favorite Shadow Daddy had some not so nice moments. But yeah, that's for after. Um who else? Are we
I
just
think
at
Hunt and
Bryce and
Bryce.
Hunt? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
They
Deck and Flynn didn't really do much. Like they did their job, and that was good.
yeah.
I was glad. Yeah,
Rune can heal, which is cool.
that is cool. Yeah. Hunt and Bryce. Did you not love it, Elena?
Not love what part of it?
I don't know. Just like I know you weren't a fan of people not dying. You didn't love that Bryce kind of got Deus ex machina by the literal god Jessica.
I mean, I didn't love that part. I liked everything leading up to it and like all the cute stuff after it, but yeah, the death scene didn't really I mean, the death scene I liked. I liked when we got to see everyone, but
Mhm.
the her being dead when he could have just got to her a minute earlier and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't hold a lot of emotional weight for me because you always knew that she was gonna be
Mhm.
okay. Otherwise, why would he have jumped through the portal? There's no point in having him jump through the portal for her to die.
You pulled a me with Lahaba and you assumed there was no way she was going to die. So then you didn't grieve her, assumed she was still alive, and then grieved a whole lot 2 books later.
Except I didn't grieve a whole lot 2 books
Yes.
later because she wasn't actually dead.
Yes, yes. But if she had. No, I hear you. I will say I thought it was extremely badass when she killed Polaris. I thought that scene was very cool. Just her like ripping a hole into nowhere to shove the Asteri into it.
Also, so smart of her to do like make a black hole on top of the black hole kill switch.
It was so cool.
Thought of
I was
that.
like, that information needs to be shared elsewhere so we can get rid of a big black cauldron.
Literally had the same thought, like, what else can you throw down a black hole?
Exactly. Like a big other black hole. Just chuck it right in there.
How did Bryce not warn Nesta?
She had a lot going on. That's next book. Yeah, I thought that was very cool. I was worried for her at certain moments, but I thought that that was a really cool, very 2 steps ahead Bryce way to fix the situation. Yeah. I love that she just like called the Asteri's bluffs too. They were like, no, don't do it. You're going to kill the world. You wouldn't do that. And she was like, watch me.
Yeah, I like that too.
Bet.
Well, and it was like, we kept wondering, like, what are you going to do with 1 bullet? And the minute she was like, it's a bomb, I was like, oh no.
Well, that's that last time too. That like no way she's gonna just waste it on one Asteri. Like she's gonna do something bigger with it.
Yeah. So good.
Also, it is kind of a loss though that she put it down a black hole because it feels like that was a lot of first light that could have powered their civilization a little bit longer.
Yeah. But it was never going to be a sustainable like power source. And I do love the mundane issue now of needing to just like form a government and figure out how to make their iPhones work. Like I love that that is now the big thing that they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The struggle.
The struggle. Also loved no, I think that was in an extra chapter, so I'm not going to talk about it. But just like the nods to political issues made me giggle in
Yeah.
certain places. It's like, "Oh yeah, when like a whole group of people just doesn't want to believe the thing that science is trying to tell them is real. Oh, that sounds frustrating. Can't imagine what that's like." Anyway, I love
Weird.
I loved their scenes afterward. How'd you guys feel about the like new Griffin antiquities?
Feels like Bryce has a lot going on, and then she was like, I'm gonna run an antique shop too.
At least she's not queen anymore, right? No queen of the Fae anymore.
Oh,
Well, yeah, and
hierarchies, no houses.
I did think it was funny that Rune got the apartment right below her.
It was cute though.
A good idea.
Just get a broom, like, hey, pizza's ready. Come downstairs. Cute. And just like him and Lydia getting an apartment together.
A
Adorable.
lot of happy moments, all tied nicely, at least for the main characters. Main.
Yeah.
It was like sad, but sad that it felt so final in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I
Yeah.
think Elena said this earlier, like just wasn't prepared. I still enjoyed it. What were you so sorry, what were you saying?
That I didn't enjoy it.
That you didn't enjoy it? Oh, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the ride.
Kind
It was a tough start.
With absolutely no spoilers about the content of the extra scenes because it's mostly like the end scenes that I'm thinking of. I was
Mhm.
reading them and I was thinking, Elena, that you would be so happy because you were talking about how you like missed like the normalcy of their lives. And I was like, finally, like we just get jam-packed with like a bunch of epilogue scenes, which I really liked because it was like a nice breath of fresh air. And I don't feel like it is over. I feel like not so much that it's the calm before the storm, but like that it's the calm before like the hard work that they're going to need to put in to like make this world what they want it to be, which is definitely, it's not going to be easy. And I think there are going to be a lot of things that they find out. Like Bryce birthed another whole island. Like there are just, I think there are more things that we have to figure out about Midgard and its people.
I loved it.
No, I did love the bonus chapters for that exact reason. Like, appreciated those. But like main content, I think I had sold myself on the way I thought it was gonna end, and that
Mm.
wasn't what happened. Which I mean, I did it to myself.
Do you think that there's still space for Hell to be evil? Like to come
I
back
think
and
we need to discuss that in a later part of this
that's
episode.
fair. That's fair. But no, I understand that I think that was part of why the beginning of this book was hard for me is because I had an idea of how it was going to be and then half of it was not anything like what I thought it was going to be and I just kept like trying to wrap my brain around we're just walking through a cave, a really really long tunnel underground. Why? What are we doing
Or
here?
did you say like what we did? We're doing this for 15 chapters,
Yeah, what is this D&D dungeon crawl? I am confused.
and then to
Yeah.
do it again later.
And then yeah, do it all over again. Basically same cave. Um
Okay.
But I think I'm at the point where, like, overall, I think that this book was really, really good. Like, I genuinely enjoyed it. I think that just like all the moments and the different like character developments and just everything was so good. And like some of it was like, really? They're all rulers of a different group, or like they all survived, and I was like, it's fine because I loved it.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it. Like, I still would read it again, would recommend, but
Yeah.
I just
10 out of 10 would recommend. At least 9 out of 10 would recommend.
um back to the Hill being potentially evil thing. Can we
Mhm.
actually take a moment to talk about how cute it was when they teared up? Like all of the princes.
That was cute.
Did not
Thanks.
expect them to care that much.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, we went from being like, they're gonna turn around and be like, we're gonna take this planet for ourselves, to them being like, this was nice, guys. Like, thanks so much. Like, we'll send a postcard. It was cute.
Probably not sad.
Wait, say that again?
When they were like, "Will we see you again?" Probably not sad.
Yeah. I mean, I did notice, they said that like Bryce sealed the northern portal like really well. And I was like, sure, you have the ability to open it whenever you want to. That's fine.
Born when Bryce dies. Does anyone know? Like, is her body gonna become the horn? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows what happens to the horn when Bryce dies.
interesting.
Yeah. Who knows? We won't have to think about it for like another 10,000 years. Thank goodness. Oh man. Is that it? Did we talk about everyone? Okay.
So
Extra chapters? Bonus chapters? Is it time for that?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I mean, no huge spoilers really, but
should we
you
do
should.
like chronological order somewhat?
Can we just
Um,
shout out your favorite?
yeah, I mean, we all know
Is
which
it
one.
obvious?
We all know which one the favorite was. Rune and Lydia's was
Rune and
obvious.
Lydia.
Was that favorite?
I knew it. Is it the Nesta one?
Hold on, wait, let me check. You think it's the Nesta one? Like with
For
Nesta
wait,
one.
for
Which
um,
Element.
Nesta
do you
one?
mean the cave one, Jamie, or like the with Ember and Randall
Mm,
one?
the cave one.
Which one do I think Elena liked the most? I'm going to also go with the cave one because you really wanted to read it.
It was the Ember Randall one, which is
It was.
shocking.
No, I
just thought
really
it was
liked that one
cute.
too.
Her having, I mean, on one hand, it was my favorite because of Nesta and Ember and Randall. On the other hand, hated Reese. Was not a fan of Reese or his actions. As a Reese stan, please tell me what you think.
I don't
It was my least favorite bonus chapter. How about that?
I don't appreciate how you said that as if you're not a Reese fan, but that's an argument that we can have at a higher voice level when we're not taping ourselves. Jamie, I'm sorry, did you just say it was your least favorite?
Mm-hmm.
I've taken a deep breath. Please explain. All thoughts are safe thoughts, even when you're talking about the person that your friend loves almost as much as the person she's married to. Continue.
Part of it is because like Nessa just isn't my favorite.
Mm.
And then it really paints Reese in a really bad picture. I did
He-
not like how, and I'm sure Elena will explain also, I wasn't a fan of his actions. I didn't
It's
like
not
how he
a
handled
look.
it. Yeah, it's not a good look.
A bad look.
And I'm just, why is she doing this?
I can give my perspective as someone who would do almost anything for Rhysand, Lord of the Night Court. I continue to remind myself that Rhys has his negative qualities. And I think that we see one of his most negative qualities, which is sometimes he is thinking too much with his heart instead of his brain, and I think that he will just fly off the handle when he feels like the people that he cares about are being threatened, which like we love on the one hand, right? We all love the like who hurt you and the like I will tear apart worlds for you. But it's like this is the ugly part of that, where Reese is literally like he sees a threat and he almost does not question before ending the threat. It was just like the whole like we should have killed her that I was like, buddy, no, no, no.
Super Reese for pretty much everything that comes out of his mouth in the scene. Also, really sad when Nesta was like, Cassian is the most angry at me. That just, like, Reese, I was like, ugh, about. Cassian made me sad.
I think the other thing too that I kept reminding myself in this scene is that we love these people because they are not perfect and they have their problems. If they were perfect, they'd be boring and we wouldn't be having an entire podcast to talk about this book because we would have just read it and then put it back on the shelf and forgotten it 5 minutes later. And I think that these are important moments that Sarah is giving us to set up for the next ACOTAR book. Like, Nesta and Cassian are still working on their shit. Like, Reese still needs to, like, calm the fuck down. Like, there are things that they are still like are going to be issues, and that they're still working on because they're not perfect people. They're all works in progress. So that's what I reminded myself. And then I focused on the fact that I loved Nesta and Ember. Like, just the two of them being able to have those moments together just like brought my heart such joy. I loved it.
They
Like,
do
just
have really good
seeing
moments.
the bond between them, like, those are the moments I wanted Nesta and Bryce to have. Which they had a little bit, but just seeing how many more there were, and like I think from the end of like the main Crescent City book and seeing this scene, like you get a good picture of how what was it, 2 days? Like they weren't there that long.
Yeah, I think it was a matter of days. Yeah. But I think that this was such an important moment for Nesta specifically because it gave Nesta a moment to be like, not all moms are bad. Like, that there are really good moms out there, and that, if she does want to be a mom someday, that like she can be a good mom. Like she's not set up to fail as a parent because her parents failed her. And I think it was just like a really nice moment. And I loved just the whole energy that Ember brought to everything, where she like told Reese off. I was like, thank you. He needs more of that. I did appreciate that Nesta or Kat, like somebody pointed out that Farah had also like read Reese the Riot Act. I was like, thank you, because I need like the whole fandom to remember that my girl is not a pushover and does not just do everything that Reese wants.
See Feyre at all in any of these scenes?
Oh,
Does that feel weird? Like, it felt weird.
I guess it didn't feel weird to me because I just figured that it would be like too many characters for these short interactions. But yeah, I guess. Like, what do you think? What do you think the reason might have been?
I think maybe Sarah's just saving it for the big three. Like, a Throne of Glass character, certain Throne of Glass character, Bryce and Feyre.
And Feyre, yeah. Yeah, I think, and this might be me being biased, but I also felt the same way, Jamie, that I feel like Feyre is not done in this series, and maybe Sarah's trying to lull everyone into a false sense of security of like, oh, it's Nesta's time now, and Feyre's just like at home with Nyx, like not doing anything, and it's like, no, like my girl is still gonna, she's gonna come out and do great things. They're gonna team up.
Yeah, she's so powerful, has all of the like the High Lord's like powers. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw Bryce too, and she's also very powerful.
Hmm.
So they could do great things together.
Hmm. Also, I don't know if it's me being biased and you guys can call me out on it, but is Farah like the person, like the character in Prithian who needs like the least personal work on themselves? And like maybe we were trying to focus on characters that have like a little more development that they need? Like, could that have possibly been it? Or do I put her on a pedestal she doesn't deserve?
No, I think she's set.
And I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm just saying that like this might
No,
have been
she's
a
not
good
perfect.
way, yeah, like to not, muddy the waters with more characters when like Sarah might have just really wanted to focus on like, what Nesta's going through and like how Reese still needs to work on himself and how maybe Cassian needs to continue to work on being the best husband. Elena,
I
you've got thoughts.
She's ready to pop off.
I would agree about the like, oh, we don't want there to be too many characters, but they keep bringing her up. They keep being like, oh, and Feyre this, and Feyre that, and Feyre said this. And I'm like, especially in this bonus chapter, I was like, why can't Feyre just be there saying it? Like, why wasn't Feyre in the room to be like, Reese, shut up? Like, I can't logic my head around the like, and it could just be to have that moment with the three main characters at some point and have it be more impactful, but it
Or to
just,
like give Ember the floor to do that. Because like if Farah had been
yeah,
there and told him off, then Ember might not have felt like she needed to stand up for Nesta.
maybe. It just,
I don't know. It totally could be something, and it would be exciting if we get to the next book and we're like, that's why Pharaoh wasn't around.
it could
Yeah, there
also
has
be
to be a
nothing.
reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elaine
Yeah,
is also not there.
but they don't mention her. Like, that would
Yeah,
make sense. Like, oh, we don't want to muddy, like, Moore's not there. Like, there's a few characters not
that's true.
there.
Important players, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I
I
don't
think
know.
that's definitely a very interesting thing to keep an eye on until we get our next book. Yeah.
I did like the Randall moments in that.
Yeah. Even just like the Ramble Ember moments, like that one moment where they're like in bed together and he was like, sweetheart, I need you to calm down. And she was just like so upset. But then also she was like, ugh, he's still so hot. And I was like, yeah, yeah, mom and dad.
Literally, okay, I was not like, yeah, mom and dad. I think I like have been in Bryce's POV for too long. I was like, parents, no.
Ew. No, I love Ember. Like, I'm so happy for her and all the like little moments that we've heard about from how she and Randall like got together. It's nice to see a moment between just the two of them.
Yeah, I I don't know. It was my favorite one, just seeing how Ember interacted with Nesta. I
Mhm.
did also like the tunnel scene, but again, I feel like we already got a lot of the tunnel, so I didn't need more tunnel.
But I will say that if we had
Like
gotten this
you.
chapter in the book, I would have felt a lot differently
I
about the
agree.
three of their relationships together and the whole thing in general. Like, that chapter to me was what was missing. And, like, okay, fine, we saved it for a bonus chapter, sure, but I really think it should have been in there. Like, listening to the music together, like, blundering around talking about their trauma together. I was like, yes! Show me how you guys were friends.
I think that's why it wasn't my favorite because it did feel like it should have been in the main book.
Yeah. I feel like it was, and then it was just like, pluck, we need to sell another book to which it was that the indie one? Was it the I don't know which one it was, but
Walmart.
Walmart. Walmart came in last minute and was like, we'll pay extra if you give us a deleted scene. I really liked it though. I thought it was
Yeah.
very sweet, and I don't know why I hadn't thought about the fact that Bryce and Nesta were both dancers, like that they had that in common, and just like bonding over the different music types and how the music like spoke to them, and like the little ways that Az's personality came out, like him being a club
I
rat.
love
Like,
that. Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm so excited for Az's book and his club scenes. Like now that's the only thing I can think of. It's
when
my Roman Empire.
when Az got excited about the heavy metal, I was like, yeah, he did.
I like the little like nod of like Bryce acknowledging like he could be friends with Rune and just hang out together. That
Oh
was
yeah.
really cute.
Can you even picture like Az taking a trip over to Midgard and they're like, dude, like where are your tats? And he's like, what are you talking about? And they literally like go get him like tatted, get him like a lip ring. Like he just thought about Asriel with a lip ring. Have you guys thought about Asriel with a lip ring?
I thought as with the earring.
Ooh, okay, all right. Well, that's in my brain now.
Okay, talk tattoos. My least favorite bonus chapter.
It was not great.
It
I
was
didn't
just
love it.
underwhelming. It
Hmm.
just was a lot of things we had already known. Like, sure, we hadn't gotten that exact scene, but I feel like we've gotten Bryce's reflection on that scene often enough that, like,
Mm.
I just didn't feel like there was anything it added.
All in
Hello.
all,
There were some like under layers with Danica that we
Hmm.
got to see that we didn't see before. Like what could she really be thinking about? And
Hmm.
was it really just Sabine, which I don't think it was. Like it could be her wanting to tell Bryce about Baxian when she asked about what's going on with you and Thorn. Or like
yeah.
what she's about to do with the horn and not being able to tell Bryce about it.
Yeah, that was the coolest part to me was that I didn't realize what scene we were reading until Danica's like, let's get tattoos. And
I didn't either.
I had no problem with reading like Crazy Party Girl Bryce because I still fully support Crazy Party Girl Bryce. Like, if you want to go do way too many shots of whiskey and like pass out on a curb, girl, you do you. Just like don't die. But it was interesting to me once I realized what moment we were reading, just seeing how well Danica hit it and how I think that I don't know what she was doing or how she was doing it, but that I think she was far less wasted than she got Bryce and pretended to be. And I was just like, wow, like honestly, the number of lies that you had to keep to like make this all work. It's just like, oof. Yeah,
My favorite part was them getting lectured on a curb.
that was funny.
Who do you think the angel and the red haired guy from the 33rd is?
I think someone random. Just
I
like that. Was it a leopard shifter? A tiger shifter? Who was in the first book?
Oh, that she banged in the bathroom?
Oh, a
He was a
lion. Wasn't it a lion?
a lion shifter. Maybe he was one of the ones that Ariadne burned to a crisp.
That's
Yeah.
canon.
At first I was trying to figure out who it was. I don't think it was Mark. Mark has red hair, right? Or is it Deck that has red hair?
Deck had red hair.
Yeah, but like Bryce knows Deck and
Yeah.
Flynn, so yeah, I think it was
Could
just
the
someone random.
lion could the lion shifter be the Reaper that Hypaxia sees?
Oh,
But I feel like Ethan would
Maybe.
have maybe Ethan would have noticed because he saw the footage of Bryce hooking up
Oh,
with
he
the
did
lion
see the
shifter.
footage.
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably not, but I hadn't really even thought about putting two and two together there.
Um,
Well, and because they said that he was part of like a police force, right? He was like in one of the lion shifter that died and became a reaper. I don't know. Cool theory though. Blast from Brace's past. Would she even recognize him? Yeah, I didn't think it was a total waste, but it was definitely my least favorite of the bonus chapters.
I agree.
I, however, loved Bryce and Hunt's bonus chapter,
Yeah.
which I was definitely thinking while I was reading it. I was like, oh, here's that slice of life, Elena. There you go. They're just celebrating Midgard Christmas.
Reads things really closely. Can you tell me what the cabbage babies look like?
What do you
For the
mean?
life, I couldn't. What the heck is a cabbage baby? I couldn't. I was so confused.
I think they're supposed to be like Ember's version of Cabbage Patch Kids, like mini Cabbage Patch. Like the like silly art like in our world of like kids in flower pots and like the Cabbage Patch dolls. Like I think it's supposed to harken to that, but they're like little clay figurines that she makes of babies like with like fruits and stuff.
And lettuce.
Yeah.
Figurines, but I couldn't figure out how the cabbage tied in.
Oh, yeah, I think they're like wrapped in cabbage leaves and probably like have like little cabbage hats like the Cabbage Patch Kids, and I think they're just creepy. Like I and like love that
Hunt
Hunt
was
is
so
super creeped
scared.
out by them. I love that.
Was he was creeped out by them, and then he also was creeped out by all of Bryce's Pegasus dolls.
I think he just didn't want to have sex in front of the Pegasus dolls.
Yeah. Although it was really cute that he got her the present of Jelly Julie unboxed.
That was really cute.
I love that.
His love for her love of the Pegasuses, so cute.
I
Her
love
present was by far better though to him.
what was that
Hilarious.
again?
She had Ember
Oh
make
yeah, oh yeah,
him
that's right. Yeah.
a baby that looked like him.
That was really good. Yes.
I was like, the two of you went with very different emotions on your presents, but they were both great. Yeah.
I was gonna say I love the little like tidbits about Randall. Like he knows how to knit. He's a great baker.
Yeah. With his chocolate croissants. They came
Mhm.
all the way back too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the I just loved the cozy feel. Like
Yeah. I
after
love
this
cozy.
book, after all three of these books, like just getting a cozy moment with like all of our characters was really nice. And it was nice just to see like Bryce and Hunt awkwardly go to her parents for solstice and like go do the religious holiday thing that they weren't like super into and make a wreath and then,
Mhm.
exchange presents and hang out with the old neighbor that's super horny for angels. So funny.
I ate that up.
So good. Yeah, it was great. Loved it.
Yeah, the cozy feel, like everything's kind of like they're trying to get back into normal. Things are happy after the trauma and the war. And it just reminded me of like n- n- of Frost and Starlight.
Mhm.
And like I loved that book, but some people hate it and I don't get it.
I think sometimes you just need a cozy moment. Like you need
Yeah.
a book or at least like a couple chapters that they may not really progress the plot all that much, but like it's just a nice like if you truly love these characters, seeing them in a totally boring plain moment of life, you should want maybe not like a whole book of it, but yeah, like at least a novella.
Yeah, if you love these characters, they deserve to have a moment of normalcy, peace, and happiness.
Yeah. Because that's where relationships really shine. Like, you don't have to write good relationships when they're like fighting bad guys and in wars and like in stressful moments. It's like it's these really quiet moments of like, what would they get each other for solstice? Like, how would he react to her dad's baking? Like, what's the weird hobby her mom has, and how does he feel about it? It's
Mhm.
just perfect. And I was saying that I think this is a good launching point into the next book, where I don't think like maybe Hunt and Bryce are not the epicenter. And I think that's probably a good thing because we have a lot of other characters that are doing cool stuff that I would love to focus on, but they're not going anywhere. Like they're going to be there. Yeah.
The absolute end for them, but it is for kind of like a trilogy of Hunt and Brace.
Yeah. Did we save the best bonus chapter for last?
I loved every second of it.
It was so perfect.
We finally get a wedding.
I
Was
the
not
minute
expecting it.
not at all. And I had a moment when they were like walking kind of nonchalantly. I was like, what like weird surprise did Lydia or Hunt, like which one of them orchestrated some sort of weird thing? Never thought it was a wedding. But when Lydia turned to him and was like, "Will you marry me?" I thought they were going to go into like some party or something. Like I never expected a wedding. Never. I like Sarah, thank you. Thank you for hearing all of us and knowing that we needed this so bad. Yeah,
And it was perfect.
so perfect. I love how Rune was like, I hadn't showered in a whole day and it didn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
Didn't at all.
I love that he loves her so much. I love that these men have so much love for their partners.
Yeah. And just like like back and forth, like even like Lydia for Rune, and just like how far the two of them have come and from such different but also like similar backgrounds, and just like to come together and get married in a little park with all of their best friends around them. So
Also
cute.
loved when Lydia was like, I didn't know if you'd like this, but Bryce was like, he'll love it and he'll sob. And she was right. And Rune was like, she knows me so well.
I don't think that I really realized how much of a softie Rune was like until like this moment. And like obviously, head over heels for Lydia, but just like how adorably like he just he's got so much heart and so many emotions. I love him so much.
He's my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And like even more perfect that Lydia like proposed it and planned the whole thing. I was just like, this is so you. Oh, she's like, I could plan an attack on the whole spine. I could plan a wedding. I was like,
Yes, I love that.
so proud.
She's the type A in the relationship.
Oh, yeah. Love them.
And I
Even
love
just,
that she's kind of like growing her relationship with Hypaxia
mm,
too. It was really
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, there's a lot to fix there for sure. And like Bryce being so happy for Rune too, like her crying and hugging him and like, I'm just so happy for you, Rune. Like nobody deserves it more than you. And Rune and Lydia joking about dumb art, like just
Yes.
bad art. I ate it up. Will read it at least one more time tonight.
Mhm.
Now knowing that they were never actually getting art, do you think Bryce found the ugliest art shop she possibly
Yes.
could to send them to?
Absolutely. I had that thought as they were leaving the art shop when I still didn't know where they were going to. I was like, this was a joke, wasn't it? Like Bryce definitely sent them here on a wild goose chase. I love it. So funny.
Perfect.
Throne of Glass? Is it Throne of Glass time?
Elena, pop
All right,
off.
everybody, as if this episode is not already long enough, we need to talk about Throne of Glass. So stick with us if you know it all. Do not stick with us if you don't. Like, I'm telling you, absolutely stop this right now. Go read some books. Thank you. Go ahead, Elena.
Welcome to talk about how Bran is short for Brannon. I felt so validated.
Yeah.
You called it. It was so good. And like the minute you said it, I knew that was right. And it's just you totally called it.
I
I
gasped so hard. I was like, Red Brand. I was like, and
Oh,
immediately thought Elena.
there was no shock. I was like, yes.
yeah, I wasn't shocked, but I was like, God damn it. Because I had gotten so worked up. Like, you guys don't know how unbelievably worked up I was about it, and I couldn't do anything because I was ahead. And then how disappointed I was 12 hours later when I figured out his name didn't exactly match, to then be revalidated by the names exactly matching.
Well, it was just like in the last episode, you were trying to talk yourself out of it, and I wouldn't let you do it. You were like, maybe it's like Dorian and Manon, or like, maybe, like I don't know. And then you're like, the timeline doesn't add up, and I'm like, Elena, it's because Brandon's descendants came over to Midgard. Like the timelines don't have to add up with Aelin.
Like, the
Still
timelines
lost on the
don't make
timeline.
sense.
Yeah.
Because Brandon was only alive, because, again, have been going to the wiki page. Brandon was only alive a few thousand years before Aelin. So, like, if Aelin's timeline is exactly the same as Midgard, like, it wouldn't make sense for Brandon to be a long relative. Like, there's not enough time unless the timelines don't match up.
Maybe the timelines don't match up.
Yeah, like, I think Throne of Glass would have had to happen earlier, or the
Earlier.
wikis I was reading were wrong.
I always thought it was earlier. Where did you guys
Yeah.
get the timelines from? Because I always lost on that. Because you were
What?
saying Throne of Glass happens after Crescent City.
No,
So originally, that's what I was trying to work out, because I thought Throne of Glass happened after Crescent City, because I thought Brandon in this book was Brandon in that book. I couldn't wrap my head around how that would be the case, but now that's not the case. Brandon is just a descendant of Brandon, but Brandon wasn't alive 15,000 years ago. He was alive, like, say 5,000 years ago in Throne of Glass time.
Yeah. I mean, I can't confirm how long ago Brandon was alive in Throne of Glass, just like off the top of my head. So we're gonna have to go off of what the wiki said. But maybe Throne of Glass happened in an earlier time period, which would bum me out because I need our girl Aelin to come hang out with Bryce and Feyre real bad. But yeah, maybe that's it. But I mean, I think we definitely know now that uh that Lydia is descended from Brandon for sure. So I thought that was really cool. The whole reveal of it was awesome. And immediately after, I was like, yes, so badass. Like, so glad Elena said it. So glad like, so glad we were right. Immediately afterward, I thought if anyone has not finished Throne of Glass, they are going, okay. Oh my goodness. I need to find somebody that has read this book and not Throne of Glass and be like, how'd you feel about the Lydia part?
Oh, you
What'd you
can
think?
ask
She's
Jacob.
fire? Cool.
After Jacob reads it, you can ask him.
Is he going to read this without reading Throne of Glass now?
Yeah.
I literally told Matt today, I was like, so you have to read Throne of Glass first now, okay. And he's like, oh, so there's a lot of like Throne of Glass crossover in this. And I was like, I'm just telling you, you have to finish
There's
Throne
a
of Glass.
lot. It's mostly just the Lydia stuff. Like, anything else, I feel
Mostly.
like you could
I just feel like
talk your way out of.
there are a lot of like world things that I'm glad we were aware of going into this. But yes, very badass. I loved the reveal. And especially again, like I know we said it earlier, but just that she had been keeping it from everybody and like knew about this part of her heritage. Just really, really cool.
Mhm. And she kept it from everyone, her father included.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think, like, if there's a theoretical world where Throne of Glass happens before, like, Throne of Glass happens way earlier, like, earlier enough that Throne of Glass descendants made it into Midgard, that she's related to Brandon on the Dorian side because I think Ace looks a lot like Dorian. Or
Mm.
if she's not, then whoever the twins' dad is. Because, like, the, like, 2 missing parts are, like, dark hair and blue eyes, which just gives me maybe I just want more Dorian.
No, it does give Dorian vibes for sure. Absolutely. And yeah, I'd be interested to see like where like who from Brandon's line came over, how that all worked. But yeah, I loved that she's like a descendant of the Galathinius line and is also a stag shifter. Just thought that was very cool. Aelin would be so proud.
Is now when we get to talk about whether or not the Valg are Valg?
Yeah, I
I
just
think
don't
I
know.
might I don't I've never been so conflicted. I mean, I haven't, but
I think the thing that what I was thinking when they very peaceably went back to hell is that it doesn't mean that they're not Valg. I think the thing that we need to remember is that like any group of people, potentially the Valg that went to Aurelia and like messed with that world, like they could have just been like bad guys. And like maybe these guys are not as like power hungry. And they're different. Or maybe they're not. I don't know, but it did seem like a really good theory.
gets me is I still I still feel like there's something sus about the other princes that we never see. And I still think it's weird that Helena set up a secret cave so that she could contact them from afar and protect her mind and soul. Um
The
Also like
smirk.
the way what?
Apollion's smirk when Bryce was like, "Yeah, you guys are intergalactic
Yeah.
heroes."
Like
Yep.
the weird little smirk and like brush off. And then how they're described in this section, like when they lose their human form, is very similar to how
Yes.
Valger described without when they're not hosting.
Was also very similar to how Reese is described when he goes into his form. Just to point that out.
Sure.
Interesting.
Just in case you've forgotten that the High Lords of Prithian also tend to have a beast form. I don't know. I don't know all the answers, and like this is one of the ones that like I think this is a good theory, and I'm okay to like tuck it in my back pocket and just like see what happens in the next book. We'll just keep our eyes out for more.
So convinced.
I know. And I really nothing told me that you're definitely wrong, Elena. So I still think that it is a really good possibility. I think that there just might be like a reason why these Valg, if they are Valg, are not taking over Midgard. And it could be as simple as like they realize Midgard's a hot mess. And maybe they're going to just like wait until they get back on their feet and then come back and be like, hey, wanna be bros? Like we could come in and like help out. Like you never know.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I just there's enough Throne of Glass like tidbits that it felt like big bad villain from Throne of Glass would also show up somewhere. Unless we're supposed to think it was the Asteri, but I still don't think it was.
Yeah. They were very different. Similar, but very different in some ways. I don't know. I do feel confident that there will be Throne of Glass crossover though. Like I got very confident in this book that at some point characters will cross over. And I don't know if it's that we are going to have to time travel to them. Like that might be like the cool new dimension is that we have to use the harp to like not only open a portal but time travel back to Throne of Glass to maybe get some information or pull some friends forward in time to get their help. But yeah, so many adventures still to have.
Any other Throne of Glass things?
I don't think so. The one thing that I did think of when I was reading the extra scene about the tattoo is that we still didn't really get to hear about what the language is. But I did notice that it was Apollyon or Adis who said that that language is their language, which I thought was very interesting. Because if Amryn also noticed the language and said it was in the Book of Breathings, which I think is supposed to be the language of her people, does that mean that she is from hell and that her like bird form that she now cannot access was her like princess of hell beast form? I don't know. But I had that thought where I was like, the Book of Breathings needs to come back, and I need everyone to tell me whose language this is and where it originates from. And I know Bryce has the book. She has it. It's on one of those shelves.
It's definitely not the end of the Book of Breathings. We're gonna
The
see it
Walking Dead is on those shelves too.
Mm-hmm.
It's there.
Word.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. This book had so many cool things, just like so many amazing crossover moments, just cool little twists, cool extra additions. I loved it.
For 3 years until the next one.
We'll see. Plenty to theorize on between now and then. Plenty to talk about, plenty to obsess over. And lots of other great books. Like, we have a plethora of books. Like, if anyone could even glimpse our TBR, like, we'll be fine. We're fine. But yeah,
We'll just continue thinking about.
yeah, always. Forever and always.
Mm-hmm.
I
We'll come up with new theories and then come join us on Discord and we'll talk about it.
Yes, yeah. This has been so much fun. Thank you all for joining us for it. I think that's it. Is that it for Flame and Shadow? We waited so long, and now we are done with our first read of Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City House of Flame and Shadow. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you for the next one. Bye.